All right, this is my first video like this. This is for YouTube viewers and subscribers and such, people that are into nature, or people into history, or people into geography, or people into survival, or people that love games, real games. I'm not talking board games. I'm talking like games that you physically are in, even to say like extreme role-playing video games there that you may like. Sort of everything covered here in this idea. Now, I don't want people just to click off this unless they're sort of interested in these ideas already. You'll want to watch this. You're going to need an imagination to listen to me. I'm a hard person to understand, and I jump all over the place. I'll probably have to edit this video. I'm not a person that likes, fame and being a big spotlight. And I'm not a person that likes to go to big places and talk to many people. So this, I figure I could talk to lots of people, sort of get to know what I'm saying, who I am, and I got a lot of stuff, but I keep things just jotted down in little notes. I was going to try to write out, but I'd be just reading from a big speech, and that's not the kind of person I am. I'm a person that, I like to jot down so I can always go back and remember what I haven't talked about. But then just from this, I also have this is what I'm actually talking about, and a whole bunch of the papers that go with it. But what it is a game that I want to make for YouTube, and that's the thing. It's a game. I don't want to tell people it's like this game or like that game, but to use reference points so people would know what I'm talking about, because I just say you need to use your imagination. But if I said something that you had no idea what it was I'm talking about, if you didn't know what a unicorn was, I couldn't describe a unicorn to you unless I said it looks like a horse and it has a horn. Then you would know what I'm describing, though. It's not a unicorn. It's not a horse. It's a unicorn I'm talking about. Now you know what a unicorn is. So like I say, when I'm talking about my game, I can use reference points to other things to make you sort of imagine and think back to what mine will be like. Because I don't want anybody to think it's like another. And if you think a little, you'll always get to that point. Now I'm making this video so people out there will contact me and let me know maybe what to add, what they would want to see, because I want to please the viewers, unlike a lot of the games you see out there which will please maybe just a percentage of the viewers. I kind of want to please everybody. Everybody's viewpoint should be heard on in something, and I think it's more fun and fair. My thing is also major fairness, because when I watch, again, I'll go into games and say things like Big Brother and Survivor are two of my favorite games to watch, and I can describe a lot from these games. The reason my game come about in my mind is because I don't like that soap opera part of those games. The conniving, backstabbing things that don't need to be done. I like watching the games, the actual game parts of it. And when you see strategies and people get together, I also like those group things where people, not to say band together, but form those alliances and stuff. And I think that's a good part of social society and shows rightness. But when they do things that just to upset the game or put something back in just to really upset things, just to get viewers that want to watch it because they like the soap opera effect, that's not what I'm here for. Though it may be something that comes slowly about, I don't think it would be anything in the excess of where those viewers of Survivor or Big Brother would be watching this. You want to watch games, this is what it's going to be. It's going to be games and games and games and games, but not needing to all be done. A choice. Another thing I don't like about the Big Brother and Survivor is you don't know what games are going to be coming up. And you, not say they're rigged in any way, but when you have a game that's a memory game that comes up and you know that there's 6 people that are there and only one of them has a good memory, well, you're pretty sure you know who the outcome of the winner is going to be. And if they had pre-said the game in order of memory game, and really had let people know that they won't be changed up or anything will be rigged or can be changed, like a strength for strong people, then alliances would form differently and things would be thought of. Now, also not voting out. I don't like the aspect of getting rid of weak and then they're really mean to those people sometimes when they're going to be going anyways, and I don't see the aspect. I think sometimes the best player actually gets voted out at the beginning, and I don't like that. What would happen if they actually stayed? Who is the better player of them all? So make the game equal and leave them all there, and don't make a game where they're together unless they want to be together. Make it separated completely, and only by choice do they go together, and it's not a benefit to the game really. So my game, I will probably want to edit this video. I'm going to even say it because I'm going to try to put it into chapters. And this is, it's only been about 5.5 minutes now I've been talking. I'm trying to talk a little bit fast too, so I can get a lot out in a little bit of time. But the idea is it's a concept to understand human innovation and how we got here from point A to point, well, if we call it Z right now, point A, B, C, D, E, F, G. It's all nice to know we have fire and how we have fire in matches. But when you watch a game of Survivor, how many times do you actually watch them make with nothing? They always get the flint, they always get something. Give them nothing, and then also make it first person who has it basically as a reward. And everybody basically needs it as a check mark or a point off of their list. Now, to me, I have, I'll show it here in front, and you can pause it if you will. This is just a quick little, I'm going to try to hold it straight here. This is just a quick little, what do you call it, challenge. So I have the challenges that I have. This is the only thing you have to play in my game, but there are many other things to help you along in my game. Courses and obstacle courses, treasure hunts, and all these different things that I've always enjoyed in games. Now these challenges here that you could have paused and looked at, I have find your camp, because everybody's going to have a different place, and part of one of the first challenges will be being able to get the right to look at a map that'll just show your X on the map. And you don't know where it is though, and you really know nothing. The game will start at midnight also at the first day of the fall season is what I want to do, and make it an entire actual season. I also want this to be live, or as live as I could possibly make it, and especially make the games live, which you never get in Survivor or Big Brother. They're always edited and seen later, and Big Brother, I like how you can watch them live online, but then they edit and cut all the good stuff that people actually want to watch. Well, I would just keep uploading it and give the video feed to everybody of all 12 individual people which have their camera just watching them in my game, because I want 12 people to play. And what happens is they give up their camera so we can put it up to the feed right away. But then once a week we can make a 1 or 2 hour video just like you would watch Big Brother or Survivor on TV, and have basically 5-10 minutes of every one person and all the games that have happened all during the week. So it's like a video, but it's only seen on YouTube, not on a television station. The only thing I would want to say be on a television station was at the end of the game, when the game was actually won, and the winners 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, all the way back to 12 would come through. You'd find out what place you're at the end of the game. And it's a whole game about finding out where you are, not really knowing where you are, trying to be first, having to help last, because in my game, if somebody quits or leaves the game, it affects everybody in the game financially. It takes away first place and it gives it to a second, down to second to 12th place. So you want to keep everybody in the game, and the guy that's not doing so well and you're doing the best, you're going to want to help that guy in last place, because if, say, I wanted $1 million grand prize is what I want, and then you do the next at 500,000, you do the next at 250, and so forth, and you cut it all the way down. So at the end of the game, I have it written here real quick here, from the $1 million, 12th place will get $488 pretty much, and it's pretty much just under 1,000 for the 11th place, and just under 2,000 for 10th place. So when you start cutting $1 million in half, everybody's going to try to be jotting for the next position, because trust me, when you got 125,000 and you're in 4th, and you know to take 3rd place, you got $250,000. Well, that's a huge difference. You're going to try to get the next one, but not really knowing, and knowing you just have to do better. If you succeed and do all 12 challenges, as soon as you complete these challenges that I showed, you're done the game. So you don't even have to do the full 3 months of the game. But these challenges, I know some of them and a lot of them I've done actually myself, and I know the thrill of, you know, for instance, making fire with 2 sticks is one of the biggest thrills I ever had in my life, and knowing that people could witness and see this in reality over the course of actually kind of needing it. When I did it, I didn't need to make fire. It was something I was so happy to make too, but I was at my own home and I didn't even need to do it. Now this would be that kind of thing. So I have make fire, find your camp, make fire, build a shelter, and I have a little extra written on these because they have to meet a requirement to be considered this. Design a wheel, like I can explain it. Design a wheel so it'll transport your own weight. That's when I say I just design a wheel and I shorten it. But it'll have to take the action of actually taking something that's going to be equivalent of your weight, and you're going to have to transport it using that wheel. Okay, so you better make sure you make a good wheel, because that's human invention and going through time where we've gotten. So travel back and forth on water fully dry, for instance. That's really a little spread it out. Boil and filter 50 liters of water. There's the catch fish and have it cured, and then a certain amount of weight, and then also with meat a certain amount of weight done that with. Also with perishable and dried goods too, you need to collect a certain amount, and there'll be forge your own tool basically, where there'll be, like, to say, raw metals out there, and essentially it's blacksmithing. So to be the first person who has a knife makes a huge advantage when you're in the real bush, and to know that you made that knife yourself and everything from point A to point B. How far? This is a game like Gilligan's Island, but far more extreme. Is there actually a way to make a coconut phone? Now, that's a big funny thing when you watch Gilligan's Island, the professor making all these things. Well, imagine a game, and you can actually watch in 3 months who the smartest human is there. They're not going to get voted out. The better they are, the better they bring their place up. And then again, after the forged tool, I have trap a live animal, and you can't harm it. That's a part of the, but it's to show how humans, not to say domesticated, but capture the animals. And then they'll also have to be finding all the other people's camps, which they'll be trying to hide their camps. Your flag, your camp will be marked with a flag. So when you're around it, at least that X marks the spot, you'll be able to see it. But then your camp will also have to be, in part of the requirement, covering that area flag, which you're going to want people not to see it. So it's going to be trying to be hiding it, but you're going to, there's rules against with your shelter, like being able to stand in it and things like this. So size requirements and everything to call it a shelter. So for me, I have basically listed the 12 challenges that I'm going to want done. So when you're done these challenges, you're done. I don't want to say I could, but to say there was a par for this, I would hope to think there's an easy par 8-9 weeks in here that somebody could get these things done. Now there's 12 things, and 12-13 weeks to play a game. Really, if you make it to the end, it's wherever you finished and you placed against everybody else. You only let people know what you have or what you've done as best as they know. Obviously, if you have fire at your camp, they're going to know you had fire. But did you make the fire, or did you get the fire from somebody else who gave it to you? Because then if you got it from somebody else, that means you didn't make it, meaning it's not checked off your challenge list yet. So having it videotaped, and then also everybody I want to give them a digital watch that will be sealed in a certain, there's certain things that will be special, but so that they can always take the time of when they accomplished one of these challenges. When they get to their flag and first find their camp, as soon as they put their hand on the flag, they're going to have their digital watch. I don't want to give them a one with a needle on it, because that ends up working as a compass. So, but you give them a digital watch just so that they actually know the time. Not that they can use it for anything, but I have a problem with that too, though, because I thought maybe the machine recording would be able to do it and be the best way to do it. Because in, say, the second season I would be able to do this, I would want people, a good crew filming, so that the time thing works to where people don't know time, and it's part of the problem of playing the games, the game part, not the challenge part, but the games. They're at certain times. Now my games, I actually have them planned out. There's 3 pages. I could try to maybe just show pretty much, let's see here. That's just like, so you can see. Now I don't have mine out in days, though it sort of looks like they're in days. I have them spread out in 27-hour increments. So like the first game challenge and course and obstacle and treasure hunt and all these kind of things that are happening. The first one is at 6 a.m. the first day. So the game starts at midnight, and there's already something, there's a treasure hunt you have to do just to get you to the point of being able to say, get to see your X, where your camp is roughly. You don't know where it is, you just know roughly, and you need to understand your bearings a bit. So it's a big thing of who gets there first and the timing. That's something expected by everybody to get. But at 6 a.m., they got their first game they got to do. And it plays with also getting thing in the treasure hunt, because the treasure hunt will have, it'll be the first time they see the trading cart. The trading cart will be something that moves around, and if they can find it, know where it is, they can trade, and there'll be a certain amount of items that come on that trading cart, and it'll be something that trades over time, is what I call it, because this game is going to be tried to be roughly fast-paced through time and history, not to say as far as we are, because I don't think no human will be able to build a computer out there in the middle of a bush with nothing. But, you know, that coconut phone idea with the professor, I think, is a real funny thing. So for me, it's like 6 a.m., they got their first thing. Well, the next day, but 27 hours later, so 9 a.m., their next game plays. And then the day after that, it'll be 12 p.m., so lunchtime. And then the day after that, it'll be 3 p.m. So by the first week on Sunday, I have it where there's no time, but there's a treasure hunt. And the treasure hunt, except for the very first day you're there, the treasure hunt tells you what place you're in the game. Now, what happens is you have to show up at the outpost. The outpost is the thing that the center of the donut of the game area, pretty much, where everybody would meet for the game. You show up there, and what place you think you are. So if you think you're first, you're going to show up there at the 7th day you're playing, essentially. You're going to show up there at lunch, and I have it from 12 o'clock, and it's going to run essentially for 12 people. Every hour, I tell the next place, come on in. So I'm going to show up at 12 o'clock, and I'm going to come out the outpost, and I'm going to say, player 1, John Doe, A, you're first place. And anybody standing around will hear it and know it, because he's coming in. He's the only one who get to come in. He's going to get to see 18 X's on the map. So it's memory here, and it's knowledge. Some X is closer to his place, some X is other far away. And what it is something's hidden at the X of different things every week, essentially. But it's to help him, whether it's a ration of food to a degree, you know what I mean? Like one food ration. It's not very much, but it's a fun game to watch. Now, for me, this is a game that is meant to challenge people. So they don't have to play these games here. They just need to do their challenges. But if you know that you're going to get a little extra and it's going to help you a little further, is it fun to be social? Some of the games are games that you have to be with groups of people. And when I have grouped people together, I have first and last group together, 11th and second group together. So it's always fair. So the best has to help the worst to get through in things when they're game-related together games. Now, again, there's games on 2s, games with 3 people, games with 4 people teams. So there's always something you want to get through. Now, like I say, when you play this treasure hunt, you're going to get to know if you're first. Second place is going to go out, but first place took off. They're not going to actually get to know unless they stick around and take the chance of not being able to get as many of the treasures, because they're going to try to get them. But after, say, so many people, now 2 people are there and they both think they're first, it's going to be funny when only one of them gets called in and then the other guy's like, crap, well, I think I'm second now. So now the person who thinks they're second shows up, and now you're waiting around with them for an hour, and for that time, and they're actually the one that are second. You're not even second yet, and you've been waiting there since 12 o'clock. You're going to start to get aggravated thinking you were way better than you were, but you start to find out where people actually lie. But the person that leaves in first never finds out who's in second unless somebody tells them, or he finds out somehow, and who's in third and who's in fourth and who's in fifth. You only show up, but this is at midnight. So if you really think you're all good and you want to find treasures, can you do it at midnight? It's one of these games that really exceed challenges. So my thing about this whole thing is to really push people to their limits, and if they're willing to do it. This is the part of the game they don't need to do. So I want it for entertainment value. Do you think you're better than me? I'm better than you. How do I rate myself? How do I rate other people? Is that sick if he's better than me? And I actually don't think he's doing that good, but how is he doing better than me? I think that's true socialness when you watch things and how you would see things. Now you find out that last place, he wants to quit the game because the game's it's just too hard for him. But $1 million prize, and if 12th place leaves, you don't get the $1 million. You only have a chance now for $500,000. Well, you're in first place. you're going to go help last place and say, hey, I'm going to do all I can to help you. And you better hope that maybe second and third place are also going to pitch in to keep this guy, because if they do happen to get first place from you, well, they also don't get the $1 million prize. So it's one of these get what you put into these games. I already know I'm at 20 minutes of talking here pretty much. I'm flying through, I think, what I want to talk, but I keep adding a little more than what I actually strayed for, because again, this is a show for YouTube. Now that brings me into my YouTube part of this game. Is I want it to be aired on YouTube solely, and I know there's an option for commercials and not commercials, and I'm not a keen person on the commercials that I see generally. I love funny commercials, but I don't like the other commercials. And I've always preferred what I would say, it sounds stupid, but planted advertisement rather than having to stop a TV show and watch a commercial. You know, if you're going to watch the people use a Pepsi product or a Coke product in a television show, you know, that's product placement. I don't know why then you have to stop the TV show and show me a 20-30 second ad about Pepsi or Coke too. You know, I just watched it. Now if you use it, you know, 6-7 times in an hour, and it's a 2 minutes at a time that you're seeing the can, that's a lot of advertisement for a product, especially if the people are talking about or using it. So in me, I want to use advertisement in this as a thing. When you're watching a show like Big Brother or Survivor, they never tell you the products that they're actually using name brand generally. It's very seldom they do. If they do, Big Brother does it a little, I'd say, more than Survivor. But let's say it's a peanut butter that they're offering or something in one of the challenges like in Survivor. They never have a name brand. Well, you know, I would put the name brand. Whether, you know, the company that comes to me and says, hey, I'm going to offer it if you do get this show that I'll give you the Skippy peanut butter, or I'll give you Kraft peanut butter for your show, you know, and how much do you need? Like, I wouldn't be anything crazy and exorbitant. It's pretty much the right kind of ration a human would be required to have, extorted over 3 months of time, 1 season. So that's it. Now I would also want maybe a little extra to do something fun with the product itself, and that's one of the big things that I want in this game, is to add fun things with products that we have. Now I thought about, like you in Big Brother and in Survivor, there's always the car thing. Now that's where I run into the advertisement thing. What I would sort of want is, like, to say the people that are playing the game in their local area, they'll have car dealerships. To have a car dealership, to say it's like a sponsorship, but that gives 12 car choice, but a year models all apart. So like we're 2014, so the model first place would get actually a 2013, and second place would get a 2012, third place would get a 2011, so on and so forth all the way back. So the worse you are in the game, but you go to the car dealership and you choose 12 cars of all those years apart, and wherever you place, that will be the car at the car dealership. Now the car dealership, you advertise their 12 cars and their dealership on that person's video feed that they're watching, because I'm fairly certain YouTube has the highest, it's not probably the highest used internet site, but for media, I'm pretty sure is either up there or is the top one to getting video media and shows and watching videos and stuff. So for me, the idea of getting this out, I'm not a very social person. I'm actually very antisocial, and this, you know, I don't want to go pitch my idea to some big company and be able to make a, you know, say they buy my idea for $1 million, and then do what they want with it. I don't actually want that. I don't want my ideas manipulated for soap opera themed ideas, and I always want the people to agree. So when you know that I have the 3 pages, they're all laid out. When every person that plays this game knows exactly every day what's going to happen, what days, they can be prepared ahead of time, because there's people that like to be prepared and knowledgeable for certain things and better at certain things. If you know you're not, it's going to take you longer, have that option to do something. You know, like I have my first, I have a make pretty much every 8 days there's a make thing. So I have, like, first one is make rope, and you know, you need I have 144 inches or 360 centimeters. So I have it, you know, depending who the people are talking. I don't want to confuse people when they're reading this stuff, but for the idea of that is you have to make this rope by that point and pick up your own body weight with it. Now that all of a sudden makes a big, can you make rope? Can it be strong enough to hold your weight in a period of time? Now 8 days later after that, it's make a backpack that can hold half your weight, for instance. And then after that, it'll be make 2 baskets that can hold a sixth or a quarter of your weight in each basket. So you can be. So I'm constantly making you build things that you need for yourself, but that you're going to have to use to entertain people in part of one of the games or one of the obstacle courses or one of the things that you're going to have to do throughout the thing. So it's make a knife and an axe, make spear. It just, and then I have make rope, but there's going to be a whole bunch you're going to actually have to make by that point. So it's either you've made it or you'll be rushing to make it at that point. There's always this, that game of, I don't want to call it the little red hen game, but it can be. You can be the little red hen and not help nobody. And know you're really good for yourself, and everybody else is just slackers, and they're going to come around and help. Can you help me with my rope? Well, no, I'm done my rope. I'm going to go try to gather some food or go fishing, or you know what I mean. It'll be a bunch of different things you can do. So that goes with my advertising in a sense. A little back before that to say with the advertising, going with the sense of, I always want things to be used, and modern technologies, not to say, like, for instance, when was the fish hook, not to say invented, but when would it be used in my game to where it's actually something in history that at a point. So my game, I wanted to go through time real quick, but like to say the first week is like 100,000 years ago, and the next week it's like 50,000 years, and then 25, and then again, when you start dividing it up, I know I wrote it down again, in the years thing, I have that all written here. By the time you're done, it's literally 58 years ago from pretty much this point today, from starting at 120,000. So 120,000, 60,000, 30,000, 15,000, 7,500 years ago, 3750. And when you get down to the last day of the week they'll be playing, they're going to be playing on the exact last week, I guess to say would be 29 years ago. Will be what they're playing, which is technically in my lifetime. So everything that now, I don't think they're going to be able to progress through history that fast, but to give them certain things that are available through time in that history, and that's how we advertise. Like at the first part of the game, the advertising is going to be kept to what I call local things. And then the first third, and then the second third of the game will be what I call not international but national. Like here we're in I'm in Canada, Ontario here, so it would be like all local stuff, say around here that could be close enough to trade. And then that second third would be say all the North American trade and into South American trade. Things like maybe you would have cocoa being advertised and things like that, so people could have chocolate and make chocolate and things like this, or white sugar, or a form of brown sugar because they have refined sugar. You can have refined sugar far later in the game as a form of winnings and things like that, but then you would go into something that is in the last third of the game. You would go into international traded things that we use that come from another country that aren't part of our country at all, that only came in the last part of our existence or our time here in North America, period. So certain foods that are definitely not native here that could be all of a sudden used over here and be that were brought over especially just from other countries. So at the beginning, something maybe like cinnamon, that would be a good thing. That's not native or here to North America. So it would be something we'd use far later in the game. I know there's 2 kinds. I don't actually know where they come from, both of them, but I'm pretty sure they're both from the other side of the world and not the Americas. So I guess that's a whole bunch already. Pretty much on that too. Like I say, I might do a little editing and try to put this into chapters of some kind. I think I'm doing a pretty good job on keeping my thoughts organized. I talked about how it was a human invention, how we got here skillfully, and this is also a game of that allows trueness to a game with socialness and competitiveness. While it's still entertaining to a maximum gaming and real survival aspect. I debated on the lying and stealing. Now, the game would have to agree that there'd be no stealing, because you could be in first place, all the 11 other people say, hey, we don't like that, we don't want him to win, let's go raid his camp, take everything he's got, and because he's got 2 goals left, he'll never make those 2 goals, and we'll just take everything he's got. Because now what's he going to do? Come back and then there might be some fighting. So I don't want to keep any aggression. There'd be not allowed. I don't want to keep aggression or aggressive things in this game that would cause those kind of things, because I don't find that's right for a game. Frustration with self or with what's happening because you have no control, those are different frustration because they're natural and to say one of the most unfun things to have to deal with. But dealing it with it, the aspect of imagine coming to, say, North America here and being stranded with absolutely nothing, just literally basic clothes on your back, and hoping somebody will help you to a little. And a person says, yeah, can you stay around this part of my land? I want you to stay exactly here. That's like the game idea. Like the outpost person that's going to be running this is going to be not using, but having them work as basics and a form of entertainment if they want to stay there. That's the agreements before the game would be started, like the idea of the game. So, but they got nothing. They don't, first people in this country would have had it hard, especially if they got stranded with nothing. If you're in a completely foreign environment. I wanted this game second season to be maybe people from around the world that come and play the game. First season, because I don't know internationally how to do things right yet or something like that, I would want this game to be just played with by Canadians, maybe North Americans, so also the United States, because I know that they're allowed to come here and stay in Canada for quite a while. I know we can go to the United States for 6 months as a Canadian with no papers or have stupid paperwork or anything like that for long extra length of time or special permits or anything. So, but there's certain, like I plan on following all the laws and rules of today, not playing the game like in Survivor where they just go kill a bunch of fish in the ocean. They do whatever they want, really. They can kill anything they want and there's no repercussions. That's great to have all these laws omitted. Well, imagine that you're only allowed to catch 4, say you wanted pickerel, 4 pickerel a day, and that's all you can catch. Now you're allowed to store a certain amount, but there's people there and there'll be other people. It's technically a camping party because of where we're going to be. I want it to be like on my land, large bush area. So there'll be people playing on my land camping. So when you're camping with people, you're allowed to, if you go fishing, you're allowed to share your fish with other people. So there's no laws are going to be broke. But you're going to need a fishing license or you're not allowed to play this game because you don't have a fishing license. So I'm all for the Canadian government and helping them make sure that all these laws are being, and that's one thing I really will enforce, is if you break the law in this game, that the Canadian laws will actually apply. So it actually is a real game being played in the real world, not that it has special things, like in Big Brother when you see somebody hit some guy and the worst thing they do is throw the guy out of the game. Well, in reality, you hit a guy, well, good chance cops are going to be called on you. So I want reality of the game so that kind of stuff doesn't happen. I don't want to have to call the police, and I don't want nobody getting out of control and doing stupid things. So if they know that there's no special rules regarding them, they're just essentially playing the greatest camping trip that has so many games. It's like going to camp when you were a kid and having the best camp experience of your life and get to do it as an adult. I don't want to say children playing this game because it's an extreme survival aspect, and I don't want to again have it written certain things, like also a hunting license. You would need to have a hunting license, and I would have mandatory that you have first aid and CPR, because these are skills you're going to need. I wouldn't let it. Also, I would want to emphasize that we'd have to get a doctor to pretty much clear you, because I don't just want any person going out there and thinking they're all healthy enough to go do this. What can happen is a lot of things, and psychologically you make sure you're there for this kind of game. So for me, it's a 2-part game. It's a first season, but more like a pilot season. I want to call it a pilot season, and then the second season where I actually want to make it really real, as in all the people out there. The first 12 people that play the game, when people have played Survivor and people have played Big Brother, the people that make the game and building all those games and everything, they never get to play that game. That royally sucks, and I don't know, I think their family can't really play or anything. So it's like, I don't like that aspect of the game where because you're associated with or you're all of a sudden exiled from the game. So I thought to start the first season of this game, we get the 12 people that'll be part of the game So the game is actually going to be not just, I don't want to call it an application, but you'll be applying to work continuously, essentially in a way, for the game. Because if you're actually a really good survival person, I also want to make the people that want to play this game have to be a YouTube user and have an account already existing with YouTube to make YouTube a big part of this game to show on this. I don't want it, like I say, to be broadcasted. I think it would be funny to be on Kelly and Michael, and have all my first place, second place, and all of them be on that show. But it's just because it's the one, I guess to say, talk show with people like that, social talk show, that only one that I really like to watch. That's a comical one that I enjoy watching during the day. So I would enjoy the people that had played the game for me to go there. But it's not really like I would go looking for them for a big. That's just the American, just be able to go America and advertise it, because YouTube is American. So if you got a lot of people to realize that there's a game on YouTube that's actually YouTube and you can go watch it kind of like you watch Big Brother, but no editing, just uploaded. Something bad happens, it's uploaded, but we'll do editing for a 1 week show to make sure. And I thought even a 1 hour of every day that gets combined of the best things of the day for that one person on their channel too, so they can have a combined hour, and then we just choose like 10 minutes of their best 7 hours of the week to combine a 1 week show, or maybe a 2 week show, or two shows a week, or maybe 3, like more like Big Brother. But I would only do it to the request of the viewers, people who want to see more, because this would be you would just be writing here on YouTube what you want, and we would do it this way. There would never have to be a vote and have to pay $1 on your cell phone or text message. There would be no. It's YouTube. You want to vote? We would vote all on YouTube, and people could verify votes by also voting on YouTube. Because when you see people the way they vote, and you go, "Hey, there's no way you can change it," because I myself counted all the votes. It took me 3 days to do, but I know that there was 200 votes or 200,000 votes for this person, and I know there was 300,000 votes for this person. And you got it would always be the fairness to the public that they would have the biggest thing. Also, a big part of this game is because I want to put it like Survivor. No. When you watch Big Brother and somebody gets voted out, that's the only time there's a live audience there to watch, is when somebody's completely hurt at their lowest moment. Survivor never has a live audience other than family members who show up at a special time just to play part of the game. I want to make it where the viewers can come to the show, where once a week so that the biggest game of the week or something can actually be viewed by the viewers live there. There'll be the first game show that has live viewers. Now, I don't know if I'd want to put them, because of weather and stuff, it would probably be a really nice fancy trailer that would be there, and they would be out a nice picture windows, so they can't actually communicate with the players out there and signal them or yell something to them about something that's happening, because people might not know everything that's happening. But I want to get the audience more involved in the actual game. So imagine playing the game as a viewer at home or something and having a chance to win an actual part of the game. And even having maybe certain viewers more part of the game, even where they can have something to do in the game, and not to say choose or do something, but could you imagine being paired up? Now maybe you would want to gag the person, for instance, put a muffle over their mouth, so they don't have a right to talk to anybody, but they'll be paired up with somebody when they're playing the game. So there'll be a person from the outside world, viewer, playing this game, having the time of their life too, just for a 3-night weekend vacation for them. But the people out there are playing this for 3 months and trying to show who the best player is. Now, I would want to have it written, different kinds of people I want, such as, horticulturist, gardener. You can have a nice old lady who knows everything in her garden, and you can have a person that has a horticultural degree, and he's not even as half as qualified as the nice old lady. Well, who's the better person? Especially if this old lady has common knowledge of the land, she can be far more valuable than a lot of people, because food gathering is a very, 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 very important thing. Now, something like a butcher and a hunter. Well, butchers are all good, but if you can't kill the animal, is it worth having a butcher, but they can do a lot of work if you killed it, but you don't really know how to butcher, and you just somehow got your animal. You don't like the, you went fishing, you don't want to clean your fish. Well, the butcher, he might not like the fish, but he'll clean your fish for you, and you pay him off for the little fish. And so it's a big barter system out there in the game, a massive bartering system game that I want to give. I want to make sure that people play this game to the max and really, really, really strive for excellence. And you might not really like somebody in the game. They might be a really awful person and not kind at all. And you might decide that it's not worth the $1 million. It might be worth making sure nobody helps this guy and socializes with the person just to be able to have him quit the game. Nobody will help him. We know he's already not doing very well. He'll quit. Now, how you would come about that, maybe it's worth the sacrifice $500,000 because that person is just, you don't even want him to play the game. The one part about this game that I had to struggle with, but I had to make sure, is because I don't like Survivor when people quit the game. If you get thrown out because you did something bad, that's another story. I believe that's proper. You should be thrown out if you got violent or something. But if when you watch these guys that are, they were such jerks, and then the whole house retains back from them and they want to quit. Well, I thought, what do you do when somebody quits? It sucks to have somebody quit. Well, what if it actually penalized somebody who quit too? Not just penalized other people, but penalized you. Now, to play this game, what I would tell is, unlike all the other games, I know Big Brother, I believe, it's only first and second that really get money. Nobody else gets money. All they're there is for all the media and the extra stuff that comes after the show that they can make money from. So that's where they're making their stuff. Some people quit their jobs to play these games. I don't want anybody that's going to be like that. It's just all this is a major. If you think there's people that pay like $1,000 for a hotel to have a murder mystery weekend, and they you spend easily a few $100s for those kind of stupid things, but even more because you got actors and all this stuff. That's an expensive weekend. So I thought to myself, well, 3 months, and I don't want you to quit. What's enough incentive to not make somebody quit? Well, what if you had to put your money where your mouth was? What if you had to say, here's $1,000, and if I make it to the end of the game, I don't even have to complete the challenges, just make it to the end of the season, so December, the first day of winter, the day before, you make it to that point, you get your $1,000 back. Another reason for it is to make sure that even if you're in last place, that you got a little money for, let's say, celebration, and also to say that I came and playing the show and I have at least $1,000 that to say, not to say I can sacrifice, but that it's not that important that I can make I can make money, that I'm not trying to be on this show to like on Big Brother or Survivor to make a career after this show. This is for people that, again, like to survival aspect in games. And I've always enjoyed, for my younger people that come around in my family before and stuff like that all the time, I would make them Survivor-ish games. I have games drawn up on paper for Survivor. I think it's funny because I've always wanted to send them. I got lots and lots of game ideas because they use a lot of the same games and I know more complex. And it got to the point where I was like, hey, some of these games, they're really authentic. And I told myself, hey, I'll use them in my games and make it. And if it were to fail everything I had, and I know nothing would ever work, but the idea is if I buy the land, at the moment in time, I'm in the process of just about finishing my house and trying to sell it, and I'm going to sell it, buy my small piece of land up north, and I'm fairly certain I'll have enough money to play this game and maybe make a $10,000 prize, $5,000 prize, $2,500, and go down. And I think that's a high enough incentive to get people to play a camping game for 3 months and to truly show that they're the best. Because there's people on YouTube who go out and do survival videos and show that they can go do all these things. Well, I would like those people. I know I don't want to name any of them, but I've watched a lot of the videos of people making fire and people making little camps and stuff like this, and I love watching them. Thing is I'd actually like to see who can do it. Now, I don't want people that I don't want to use the word can't afford to do it, but it'd be irresponsible if you have a family and you're trying to take care of your kids and everything, and you're going to say, hey, I'm going to give this up, and so I don't want none of that. But I also want people to nominate, in a way, people from YouTube, from the videos. So go on YouTube and watch the videos. Type in make fire with 2 sticks, or things like that. Boil water with nothing. You know, that's a task. If you don't have a pot, if you don't have a pan, if you don't have something to boil water in Mother Nature, is a human smart enough to do it? Well, yes, but it uses, for a lot of people, an imagination they've never had to use. Well, we don't want those people playing the game because that'd be dangerous. That's why, again, YouTube is a good, important part, because it kind of gets the people that say they can do it already. But then you got to get the people to nominate. And by that, send me an email. At the bottom of this, I'll have my email. So you can send me and nominate. And all it is the nomination is to tell me which video to go watch, and that they already have a channel. I can go see their video. And what I'm going to want is them to make a video strictly for me, showing them one of the 12 challenges. Now, you can't go show me finding 12 can't part of the challenge. But video your tape yourself making a wheel from nothing. Or all your things that you made that wheel point to that point. Like if you had a piece of metal and you forged it yourself into a knife so you could get to point A to... Get all that. Show how you made an axe and all these things. If you can do one of the challenges, even that make the fire one is one challenge I think I almost want every video to show, that they can at least make fire. Because if you can't make fire, I don't even know if I want you in the game. But it's a challenge. Technically, you could do 11 of the challenges and never make fire, but got fire from somebody and fully survived out there just fine. So I had to debate that, saying you had to make one video of one of these challenges being completed. And again, don't go show me you cured a bunch of... Use one of the videos, and you know, to say, I don't want to have to tell you which one to use, but you know, again, I think making a fire is one of the best ones. Making a wheel, to show yourself boiling water using nothing in the forest. There's good videos on that, and if I can see a human do that, a link that the video is talking directly to me, saying, hey, I'm making this video to show you. Even forge your own. So if you're like a blacksmith and you can actually forge your own metal, and not using brand new today's stuff, raw material, and get from point A to point B is what I mean. And a form of trap that you can build out in the wild, maybe, that catch a live animal and to witness it, because no animals can be harmed doing that in that challenge. You know, not to say you can't. Not to say trapper, but if there was a trapping and snares concept, which trapper's licenses and all that wouldn't be, I think, part of the game, because I don't think it'll coincide with the right amount of time. So now a thing with some of these games and stuff, I have games that are built upon game. So for instance, how you have to make the rope, and you have to make the basket, and you have to make all these things have to do with parts of the games, like courses and stuff, where you'll have to do something with, that's also verifying you have it. So that's why if I say on the 8th day, or on what is it here, on the 4th day, you need to have 144 inches of rope, and it can hold your weight. If you know that, you made it on the first day and you've been using rope and everything to make sure you actually have it on that day, because there'll be a game involving it. Now, you might have rope, but if it doesn't do what it's supposed to do, you didn't accomplish the game, so you'll just get basically a 12th place. If you came and tried and you showed up, because leaving your camp to come to the outpost isn't going to be a 5-minute walk. It's going, kind of like when Survivor and they take that long walk and nobody's ever close to each other, so tribes don't stumble upon each other and stuff. The idea of this is that everybody's out far enough, but you kind of want them to stumble upon each other and find everything in this game. Now, like I say, using your imagination, and if you're still watching this, you're probably, not to say, I don't want to use the word excited, but you could tell me a lot of ideas and thoughts, and hey, you could do this. Well, these are the people that I might want part of the game. Because the first time I play the game, I want that person to have what I call a partner, a person that's going to come out to the game with them. Not playing the game, they're going to be there to watch the other 11 contestants and their partners and make sure that everything's fair for the person that they're working. They won't have contact with that person, so they can't change anything, But the idea is if there's going to be a game setup or something's going to be made, there's going to be a certain collection of something that person knows, will say, hey, my guy did it. I can see that my person has accomplished it and he's the first one if nobody else has noticed it, to make sure things are done fair. Then again, he could say, hey, whoa, the rope's not as strong or the rope's not tight as well on my guy's thing, blah, blah. So it's that verified point. It's also, if you do quit, there's somebody there to take you out of the game pretty much at the same time. Now, you won't have contact with that person, so it's kind of like that survivor aspect. But it also gives that person a point in the game. Now, seasons from now, I have multiple seasons already sort of laid out. I want to have it where it'll be 2 people paired up against 2 people against 2. So it'll be like either a couple or best friends or something. So instead of 12, there'll be 24 people playing. And what I want to do is maybe come back to that original campsite. And it's always going to be pre-told, everything, so nothing's hidden or lied about or can be manipulated. Have the people that help them in the first game be their backup person actually play with them as their partner in the game. So they'll have to pre-know that ahead of time for the first season to know that they're going to be applying to play on the show, but as well work on the show with their person. Because I would want, but it's not like you're going to be working like it's a big show thing. It's going to be working once a season pretty much. And on YouTube, if it becomes a big thing and a big advertisement thing, I think it's a big thing. I don't know if I'll make another video about, or I'll talk maybe in this video about how I want to come about with the pays, because there's a bunch still of other things and how I just know I want a really high thing. Like I say, if I sell my home, when I sell my home, I'm fairly certain I'm going to have a small grand prize and be able to pick from. If I only have 12 people to pick from, I'll pick 12. If I have 13, well, I'll have one person maybe I have to admit. Maybe I'll say, hey, come play part of the game and, XXX whatever. And, you can be, not say my partner, but because I know I still need one person to play the game as not the host, but I need at least one more person because I need to run the outpost and then the trading cart that's going to move around that people are going to try to find too. This game is definitely going to be for outdoor people that are experts, not people like on Survivor. So they're not going to show up and have a machete or, after their 3, 4, 6 days that they've been there, get a piece of flint. Unless somebody else started a fire and are nice enough to give it to you, again, you can't steal. That's a big thing. So you have to be nice with people, because I'm not going to say people could get sick out there. People could get sick out there in theory, and you, again, I have more of the people, I want a carpenter, but a lumberjack, a steel worker, yet a blacksmith, and then like a doctor, nurse style thing, and a natural person that knows all the stuff that's already natural in the forest, Now, I also, when I make this game, I want to diversify the people, because Canada is a diverse country, so North America, period, is a diverse place, and I believe having the game played by a very well mixed amount of people, language, cultures, nationalities to play the game, because that's how Canada got to be, from Canada, keeps us, to say a good show for this game, but we're Canadians and we get to play it, as well as it gets a voice for the next, because the next season I would want to say again that international, where it can be, if the states haven't been involved in the first season, to say hopefully the second season they will be involved, and maybe more of the world, and people from around the world that are good survival people will come and try their luck and at a survival like their ancestors that had left, because people branch off, and that way down there, your cousin left for that country, you never did, well, imagine that many generations back, and when the first people are coming here, how hard it was. So it'd be nice to see, I think, all them cultures mixing and playing a true game of trying to coincide at the same time, because I don't think they have enough mix when you are watching games. I remember the one season of Survivor, and they had the Asians, I believe, the Latinos, the blacks, and the whites, and they had the 4 teams. And I remember that I thought that was an awesome season to actually watch, because it gave more of a. But I realized there weren't enough, because there were, not to say brown people, because there's a variation of different brown people, but they're really I I don't know if I've ever seen a Muslim on Survivor. I know I've seen them on at least one Big Brother. I haven't gone through all the seasons of Big Brother, and I've only finished season 2 of Canada Big Brother, which I really enjoy watching. But they just had a Muslim on this year too, and to me, I think that's true diversity. But they don't show enough of these people. I have no idea why. Again, Asians aren't it's a lot of white people, sometimes 2, maybe 3 blacks. If you're lucky, 1, maybe 2. Now, whites, I guess they have a broad spectrum, but so do blacks, so do Asians. So I don't understand why they would use a broad spectrum of black people and then like only 2 Koreans, for instance, or something like that. There's a broad spectrum of Asian people. So I want to play a game that'll have a mixture of everybody very equally, and not necessarily even need to have language as a barrier, because again, if you're watching your own YouTube channel, well, you'll be speaking your own language. Say it's French, I'm French, so I could watch all the live feeds in French. Well, if you've got a person speaking Cantonese, for instance, and he's speaking on his thing Cantonese, well, when he's with a group of people, if that's all he's speaking is Cantonese, it's going to be sort of funny. But at the bottom, in the caption across the bottom, I don't know which way it would go, but it would have the words being translated, so you know who's talking. That's the best thing about these sites, is you can have this stuff kind of done. So it would be all equal. Now again, I would like a proper game being played. I want to keep the challenges separate from the games, because you don't have to do the games. So a person that wants to be maybe antisocial and doesn't want to play and be part, he knows that he can go in, or they, I should say, because I want, again, if I can, hopefully there'll be 6 women that can, as long as there's to say 6 women, I almost won't tell myself there's a choice, because I want to have an equal amount of people. But if there was the gap was maybe so different to the amount of women that would want to play for this show to the amount of men, well, maybe I'd have to percentage gap it. But I pretty much want to go 6 men, 6 women. That's how I want the game played. It's funny, you can hear my phone ringing in the back probably. I don't pick up my phone because I'm making this video. I'm just going to keep making it. It's going to stop ringing right now. Maybe one more ring. Let's see. Like I said, I came to do this pitch on YouTube because I want to put this show on YouTube. And I think it'll be a big step for everybody compared to a show like Survivor, which you never get to see any feeds of. It's only what's edited you get to see. Survivor is a percentages of editing, and I want to make something where there's no editing and that it's just uploaded onto YouTube and you get to see the last 6 or 8 hours that guy just had as the last. Now, like I say, when you're playing games, I know on YouTube you can do live viewing. So when we're playing certain games, we can actually put it live onto YouTube, just like it was TV. So to me, it is a television station that we can modify to say not to say the commercials, but we can add the advertising we want in the show. Because a show that's a rerun many years from now on a television show gets a different commercial and might have nothing to do with the show period anyways, you know what I mean? Because I want to make stuff that'll always apply. So if you go watch an old episode, a season 1, a season 2, a season 3, that you'll actually be able to get into the all that same advert. It won't be different for you. I like YouTube too, because if there is advertisement, it's at the beginning of the show. So I generally have liked that. So you're not sitting there with. Sometimes there's a few of them that have commercials in between, but I prefer there are no commercials. Okay, let's see. No, you're ranking with that. Now again, the way I want to have the challenges ended is the first, second, and third kind of ratio. So every game will be based upon challenges and how you're placed there. So it kind of lets people know where you are, because when people are placed together, you know you're first. Okay, last place knows he's in last, and you're in a paired up team game, and you now know that guy's in last place, but he also knows you're in first place. You can choose not to play the game, and hopefully somebody else doesn't play the game either, and nobody actually knows which place you are or they're in, and you might even have an alliance with somebody and say, hey, let's both not play this game, that ration of corn isn't worth it, whatever the case may be. This game is just, you might not want to let people know what you're doing. It's I think, a chess game, a poker game. You don't want to let people know your hand, but maybe you want to. You might finish this game on the 8th week and be done it. All your challenges are complete and you are done the game. But somebody's struggling so bad in the game and they might just quit. Well, you could quit. You're done the game. So you'll get your 1,000 because you've completed the challenges. You get your $1,000 back and you can just sit and wait for the game to be over with. Everybody online knows. So it's not like you have to go be what they call sequestered or put somewhere special. Everybody knows that you've just beat the game. The people in the game don't know that they could think you just left and quit the game because you did, and all of a sudden they're like, crap, now we're down to 500,000. But maybe you decide not to because there's somebody having such a hard time. You decide you don't even need to do really anything for yourself. You're going to devote all your time to help them to make sure they stay in the game and they do well, and maybe even do better than somebody because they're in last place, for certain factors from something else, and you want them to just do better than one person because you think they're more deserving. Well, you always hear that in Big Brother, oh, he's more deserving, he should make it. Well, this would actually be one of these things people can do something about it and actually, not just put your money where your mouth is, but actually do what you say, and people are watching you live. I hate, is this how you are after the game? Well, no, I'm nothing like this after the game. Well, this game, you will be like you are in the game because it'll show no different than you are outside the game. That's how I want to make the game. And if you're a user, you'll be come across as a user. If you're a giver, you'll come across as a giver. And I'm fairly certain a group of giving people will make it a lot further than a season of non-giving people. And it's also a thing about which season will be better than another season too. Because your season, everybody might have finished the game by week 9, by week 10. And the game is literally just been finished. The game's over. People might still be playing and not knowing that the game's over and just trying to make it to the end and blah, blah, blah. You don't know. The idea is the game could be finished early if it's done right. And a whole season of people could be like, not to say glorified, be like, wow, these. And then there could be another season where nobody completes any of all of the 12, like all 12 challenges. No one person does all 12 of them. And or maybe only one person does. It's which season is better, which group of people, and then again we can have it where at the end of an entire season, the most viewed viewer of all of the 12 people in YouTube, of the people playing, will win, and this is where I would want a new car, the car of the year. So technically I have 2 cars by the time they win, depending on whatever year model they got, because it doesn't mean it's the best player. The kindest person could be the most viewed person. The most evil person could be the most viewed person. YouTube wouldn't lie, because YouTube have the numbers right down at the bottom saying the amount of views. So it'd be one of those, that's the way you vote and watch the show. So nobody can manipulate what the numbers are. There's no calling. It's like, hey, look, that's how many people voted. We know he's the number 1 viewed person. You get a Chrysler or something, said that the winner would get a new car of the year. Whatever. And now we can advertise something else. So, like they do in all the other shows. I want to do the same thing, but I want people to earn what they get and to deserve what they get. Not to be a person that's deserving but gets nothing because I don't like that aspect, how some season is the good person that makes it, some season is the bad person that makes it, some season is just a nobody that makes it. Everybody is always the happiest when the right person makes it. Well, this game would always make sure the right person makes it, because they're in charge of their own path. They can't be voted out. The only reason they leave is because they did something so offensive that we have to remove them from the game, or it was too hard for them and they had to leave the game. That's how it should be, and there should be no other way out of the game. I would like it. So I know I'm getting up to the end of my video. I'm fairly certain I don't need much more. I'm at an hour, and I knew I'd probably get it done in an hour. I don't think I really need to talk about anything else other than with the people that might want to play the show. Like I say, I want them to put a video up themselves and to have somebody else nominate them. The reason I need that nominator is because the nominator would be the one coming to the show with them. So I want Anybody and anybody that thinks. Now, I would have to say, I don't want to use the word age of majority or adults only, but if I said teenagers and under, no, 20 and up, I would say would be the age appropriate thing to do. I don't want to say 21 because I'm like, well, what's wrong with teenagers is 19, 18, 17, so these are teens. So if we said 20 and up, then we can really say that those are adults, hopefully. But if also I would want a range of age because some of the older people have far more abilities and knowledge, especially in those kind of situations, than people ever do today. So again, I would like to watch the gameplay. I'm in one way or another willing to pay for it to be played. If I don't have no advertising big time, like I say, I want some of the gamers, the people that want to play the game, that maybe they got family that have a small shop, maybe, maple syrup, like I have family members that, have maple syrup shacks and stuff. Well, you bring that advertisement to the game, and now they've got advertisement to millions of people, and that can be a big thing. It could get them, let's say, started off internationally with their product, but at least get a little more shown for maybe just a little. Now, maybe somebody wants to, you have a friend that really wants to have something done and wants to have an impact in the game. This is where I say the viewers could, and they say, hey, you know what? I'm going to give you all this honey that I have, for instance, but I want your game to be everybody's getting covered in honey, and I want to make sure everybody knows it's my honey that's being. So everything that's going to come on the show, I want to be able to advertise, because everything is going to be nature. So there'll be nothing. You don't see a tree that says a brand on it or anything. So nothing will have brand names. Everything you build won't have a brand name. Everything that's brought into the show will have some form of advertisement, and it's really the only things I want to bring into the show are the advertisement things. I think it's more fun to watch something fun happening with something while it's being advertised than sitting in a very boring. Now, I also enjoy the idea of, I like the idea of donations to charities and stuff like that, and I thought that even maybe there could be a thing where if you get a certain place, you can get people that are sponsoring you for the game. Will say, if you get this place, we will pledge this much to your charity. So then you go find a charity that wants some form of advertisement, and again, you're going to talk about, while you're playing the game, you're going to be mentioning all the things that you brought as advertising. Maybe they'll give you a year's supply of honey for helping bringing the product too. So you might be able to get a little something out of. I don't want to be the one to go look for your advertising in your local community and but I want your local communities to be helped, because YouTube can help anywhere being YouTube, anywhere there's an internet at least. And, if in a small town that your friend, is, I'm not going to look, what town are these people from to be picking. I'm going to pick, like I say, randomly. I don't want to just pick everybody from Toronto. I don't want to pick everybody from Montreal. If I'm looking for French and I'm going to go and I want to pick people from little towns. So, I don't want to say Asians, for instance, always come from you always hear they come from the big towns. Well, I grew up in a very small town, or didn't grow up in a small town. I was born in a small town and spent some of my childhood and stuff there. And I can remember the one Asian family there. So for me, that's where you might want to pick your Asian family from, and have that person that's going to be coming from there, rather than a big town. Because I'm pretty sure that, because I lived in a bush up north, the people in my town and the Asians probably were more orientated with nature than a person in the, say, middle of New York City. Not to say you couldn't find a good survival person that's Asian and that could do well. I'm sure there's lots. But to have making those videos, how easy and common is it going to be? So I'm pretty sure it's going to be small town people that are more or less going to make it onto this game, probably because they'll also have family backing to a small degree, because in smaller communities there's just generally more family that willingly clumps together. And then you also, if you got 10, 20,000 people in a small town, or I'll call it maybe a little more than a town at that point, but I guess a town, well, you're going to get a large portion of them watching your YouTube thing, and then also watching the weekly thing to catch up on sort of everybody and how you're ranked. They'll know how you're doing, but you'll sort of never know unless you're informed or told or find out in roundabout ways. I want to make this a game where it has every game that people have wanted. There's certain things I've never liked. Something like Fear Factor, for instance. I used to enjoy it, but as soon as they did those eating things, I was like, I'm not into that. Now, I have eaten a worm in my life. Actually, I've eaten 3 worms in my life at 3 different times. Very, very, very young, medium young, and then just before I'd say teenage years, I had another worm. But, it's not something I would practice on eating. Now, in this game, if a human were to eat a worm, it's voluntary. That's the big thing about this. I'm not going to have a challenge because I wouldn't play Big Brother and I wouldn't play a Survivor. One big thing is because of the eating. And there's certain things I just don't want to eat. Me, I'd survive. I could go catch you fish, but I won't eat it. I'll eat the meat. I'll eat the perishable goods. I'll eat the dried produce. I'll eat all the other stuff, but I won't eat fish. I could trade for fish with meat, people that want to eat it. And when you're playing Survivor and they put you on the beach, well, you're eating fish. Or coconuts at least, So to me, it's not really a strong choice of what you're going to have. I want to make a game where you can choose what you're going to have, but you have to get what you want. Or do something essentially, not to say for me, but for the host of the game, who will be the person who trades, because they'll be trading in this game. You can make something, have something, and trade for something that's of worth. And we have to, again, this is why you have to have not your friend coming, but all the other people, because the other 11 people will make sure that trades are always traded. Not one person is getting traded better than another person. That it'll always be equal trade happening. That's why I want impartial, to have it impartial. So that's to have the other people, kind of like not a jury, but people, just to make sure it's being washed right now. Myself, because it's 12 people, if you were to get a middle cross, so I can definitely make the vote myself to say which way I think it should go. It is the game I want to produce myself, with the help of the first 12, or you want to call it 24, because I don't know if you want to call it 24, but at least the first 12 people to play the game. I want this game to be, not to say owned by, but every season that the people playing the game sort of get paid to, if there's a certain amount of money made from the game, if you understand. Because if you did really good in the game, well, you deserve a little more than a person that might have not done as good. And I don't mean that in your winning aspect. I mean that on advertising aspect. That's why I say, if you're advertising and you brought something like somebody who wants to advertise honey, and they give you a year's worth supply of honey, and give us, say 10 liters of honey to do something with, or 100 liters of honey to do something with. Well, we can make a good game, or maybe they'll suggest some form of game. If we don't like it, we could maybe not use it, but more likely we'd probably always come to some kind of understanding, because we want to get products. I have almost no product that I'll be against in this game that isn't, to say, a legal product to a degree. Like, I'm not going to advertise a medication in this game, or some form of drug in this game. There would be no name brands of anything like that. But maybe something like ketchup might be at a special reward that you want a special dinner at, and you want to say some French fries and whatever, blah blah blah, and maybe we got the ketchup there at the table, and then we told them what potato we used and made the French fry with, and we told them what beefs, if they have a steak with it, maybe what beef ranch we got it from, and say it came from Alberta or something. You say we got it at this ranch in Alberta, and they sponsored such and such that's playing with the game 100 pounds. So blah blah blah. That's how I want to have the game. I want to have the game talked about and advertising by the people playing the game, who's working for their own whatever. Because maybe the advertisers will say, hey, we're going to advertise, but we want you to advertise this way. And if you say this, this, and this, we'll incentively give you maybe an extra month's supply or 2 months' supply. They could say, I'm not going to say they'll say money for you, but maybe they'll say, hey, if you win first place, we'll even throw in $1,000 or $100, I'm not saying what you can get. That's the game, is you can get it. You can tell them to come and watch this video to know that I want to make this game, and that I'm looking for the people to make the game with me. Because again, I want that transparency, that true word transparency, where everybody sees. They see what games are going to be happening, how they're going to happen, when they're going to happen. Nothing is going to be hidden. This is what we're going to do with this, and this is how we're going to do this. You know, to me, myself, you know, I want to make it, I might bring up the jackpot a little if I got more money for my house, but I'm fairly certain on a certain amount, and then leaving me a small X amount of dollars to do the stuff I still want to do, and things I still have to get for myself. So for this game, I might be able to give more, but I'm fairly certain I'll do like a $10,000, and I'm hoping, not to say do it this fall coming up. That's a big thing about timing. I'm not planning on doing, we're 2014, May right now, middle of May. I'm not planning on doing this year, September, the first day of autumn. I'm planning on doing it for 2015 first day of autumn. So first of all, it would give people plenty of preparation time mentally, not to say financially, but to be able to be proper and ready for that time. You know, so it's not like like Big Brother, where it's get your stuff ready, you're leaving right now, you got 1 hour to pack. It won't be nothing like that, and then you won't be also sequestered for a long period of time. Like, you know, people are going to get to know. You're going to have a lot of time to advertise, to tell people I'm going here, I'm getting this, and you're going to find everything. So people are going to know you're going. And that's why I say another big thing with the $1,000 of playing the game is to make sure that you don't back out, that you don't screw up. I thought about having what I call the 13th person and having them also. And if one person were to fail, that we can have that 13th person. But if we got all 12 and we still had the 13th, that he would be the person automatically for next year, automatically. So that's where I would give that, you know, or maybe we have 15 people that, and we give 3. Those 3 will automatically have a place in the following season. The idea is I want to have a guaranteed aspect of the game, and if, you know, somebody is willing to play this game and say they're going to stay, $1,000 I don't think is very much to say for 3 months, and to also prove that you're financially able to play this game and that you're not here with nothing, trying to make something from this game, because I don't play this game on making your life, but it could help you along in your life with small things. Like I say, in the first people, if they make a good show and it's the show that does very well, how much better advertisement can we get? And that only helps out the first, not to say the first season, but the people playing the game are the people that are going to profit more from the game to get a, you know, to say a higher percentage of earnings. So I want, again, emails from the nominators, but the nominators to be the people that would be coming out with them. I don't, to say they'd have to be of my age orientation, or age that I hold majority to, of 20 or above. I thought about saying 21 because the states have a lot of their of the states are 21 to say as an adult, and say if we had alcohol involved in the game, you can't really. But then I'm fairly certain that the laws state that an American in Canada can drink at 19 anyways. I don't think there's any law that stops them from drinking in our country at 19. Now, if we wait until they're at least 20, at least we're giving them 1 more year. I don't know. I know some of the states are younger, and some of them might even be 20. But, you know, world consensus, I'm fairly certain the world is lower than 21 for drinking. I wouldn't doubt it if the world's overall drinking age is 16. But, you know, I don't plan on having alcohol in this game as a big thing, or maybe even advertised. The thing is humans have the ability to make alcohol fermenting things. So if somebody wants to make it, it's really nothing that can, you know, it's just leave something in a bucket and it's sitting there, and it might taste awful, but who says somebody doesn't get drunk? I don't know if I want to have maybe a beer company will say, hey, we want to have a beer as one of the things. Maybe somebody will have a friend that has a microbrewery who says, hey, we're going to give there's 12 people, and say you give 2 beers and 1 week. So let's say we'll donate a case, or maybe we'll donate 5 cases or 10 cases, maybe 12 cases, so everybody can have 2 beers once a week, all all season long, you know, and then maybe tell the person, if you advertise it and say this many times, I'll even give you I'll give you an extra case of beer for when you get home, blah, or 2K, or I want people to make out from this game, not to say better than I do, but I'm trying to help people have a fun time, play a game, but not lose anything. Like in the game, you know, like some people have lost their life playing a Big Brother or Survivor because they gave up everything stupidly and basically had to start over again. This, I just want to help people have a fun vacation, is what it is, that's planned, organized, kind of like I said, camp when you were a kid, but far more. It's not like you have these stupid, oh, you have to go do this or you have to go do that. I think archery is fun, but imagine having to make the bow and arrow yourself. Great. Now let's see what you can do with that bow and arrow. So, you know, do you need somebody else to do it for you? And because when it comes to a game, you can have somebody else make your rope in a game. The challenges aren't making rope, though the rope might be useful to help you in a challenge. The game is make rope. So maybe somebody made twice as much rope. You traded to get a piece of rope. Now you got rope and you go do your game with it, and it gets you a little bit more and further. So this game is about helping your person, getting to help you back, making sure your fellow man is okay, while not to say you're bringing yourself down, but you know, to have that only inward focus when maybe you should have a little outward focus towards the people around. And playing games too, you know, I don't like to say sore losers are horrible, but I don't know if people agree a sore loser can be even worse. Generally they're not. Sore winners are just bad, but you know, a horrible sore loser can be really, really, really horrible. So for me, I want to not force, but tell people, you know, basically, if you choose to do bad, it probably will only hurt you in this game. You may be that good that you can be that bad, but it'll always probably be easier for that good person. And I believe when you put a person in a situation like that, they will succumb to their trueness. They will, if they're a mean person at heart, or a person that only takes, it will come across. So, you know, to say Survivor and Big Brother, they should be told, you know, if you know you're a jerk, you shouldn't even come on the show. But really, they make sure they take 50% of the jerks, even maybe 70 or 80%, to make the show interesting. Well, in this game, if you're a jerk, you probably won't make it that far, and you're probably, because the good people, you might be able to have enough jerks that they'll group together too, who knows. That's the interesting part about my game. But if the group, they're just wanting first, second, third, fourth, fifth, if there's 5 people banding together, and they're not really harming anybody, but they're not nice, that's a big thing. Now another 5 could group together and then they end up placing together like this, and I just think it can make a much more creative game. Again, I want out the input from the people who want to play the game, and the people that want to nominate the game, and the people that want to watch this game. So if you make me a video and all you say is, I want to watch this video, my name is such and such, today's date, I will actually mark that down, and trust me, I will, because I'm a guy that, if you see around me, I'm just loaded with papers. I will write down how many people I have willing to view, blah, 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 how many people. Maybe there's a viewer that's willing to, I don't want to use the word donate, because if we're advertising for them, it's not a donation. But maybe there's a person that watches this video and says, hey, I want to have my product on there, or I have this, you know, I grow peppers, and I have a little greenhouse, and I want people to get my name out there. So I'm gonna give them a box of green peppers for one of their weeks, so they can make a special, you know. That's everything I'm going to advertise. I don't want to have to go out there and buy things for the show and use, and then to like have a something in front of them to uncover the name, or take them out of a special jar to put them in another bowl so that there's no name on it. I want everything that I use in the show, and only the stuff I use in the show, to all be name brand or made by the people playing the show. Right from the close. I don't want to play the game started naked. I have in here a big thing about how I start people, but it's like basically it's I thought about just using leather, so it's very more common, but it's just a coat, pants, shirt, shoes. Then what I kind of want to do is, because I plan on having females play the game, is there will be special things that only, like for instance, feminine products will be had. They will not be ever allowed to use the feminine product for alternate means than exactly what it's meant for, because it's not part of the game. But it's something that hygiene has. Like your glasses, for anybody, man or woman, that's wearing glasses. If you choose, say, to wear glasses, or say you need glasses, maybe you don't have contacts, you won't be able to use your glasses to start fire at any one point. It won't even be allowed. But at a certain point in history, there was that allowed. And the minute that is allowed, you may, to say, use your glasses, but you'd have to be able to pay or trade for the right to. Just like somebody would trade at the trading cart maybe for a chunk of glass that's been made that they know they can use, and either use like a telescope kind of idea, or maybe they want to do it so they can start fire with it. It's something that would have to be earned. Though we recognize you need glasses, but you don't get to use your glasses for anything like a MacGyver idea. You know, you can only use what you have naturally and made yourself, and that's the big thing about this game that I want to make. My second season, I would love it for the first season. It's the funding that would be ridiculous. I do want to have a crew of people for my second season that would actually film the people. The first one, I would give everybody a camera and then just be changing it up to get the video back from them all, every 6 to 8 hours, and have some kind of good relay, or maybe even have the videos that the recorders they have able to upload directly to the trading post. Essentially, the trading post is that center hub that I'll be able to get all communications, play the game from, but also bring communication back to that'll be equal. Because I plan on the first season having everybody given a walkie-talkie, 12 sets of them, so everybody has one, but they leave theirs off. The only reason they turn on, that the players would be turning on, we'd have them fully charged all the time, turned on at our end, but would be for an emergency, come get me, something bad happened, or to tell us something good happened. I just found my camp, or I just made fire, so that we can document and go back for footage wise and record you making your fire, record you finding your camp. So then when we're showing that the weekly or the daily whatever highlights, that we can really show all those things that one individual accomplished and went through. So for me, it's I have pages and pages and pages of this, and like I say, I can talk more. I'll probably make another video, but only after I get a certain amount of, not say views, but people, because one person might view this and say, oh, I'm going to get a group of 5-6 people come back and watch this, and it'll only be viewed a second time, but there'll be maybe 2 people partners are saying, hey, you play this game, I'll be your partner. So it'd be viewed 2 times by the same person, but really there'll be a second person, maybe there'll be a third person. So I want this game, because you might be having sponsors come and watch, and that's how I want a game to be. I want a game to be an individual game for a person that can be an individual, or show that they're very social, show that they're very giving, show that they're not. I want a game of trueness, not a game where at the end of it you say, well, it was just a game. I hope they understand, because there'll be everybody's going to be, the only people that'll ever vote at one time will have already basically voted by the way they have viewed you and the way they have said things on the screens about you, on your own screens that will be there. And then for me, if you've got a person that's the most loved, I think to say they deserve maybe the little extra reward. Now, to say I'm running up on an hour and a half, and I'm fairly certain I'm all done talking about pretty much what I have to. I've talked about the multiple seasons. I was talking about a camera crew. The camera crew for one season, I'm fairly certain would run around $137,000 to be able to run the camera crew I would want. So for me, it's almost a dream I can only put in for next season if I was to get enough good advertising and people that want their stuff put on there. This is an awesome thing to say. I want to use Canadian Tire for a good name, because it's a Canadian show, and a lot of camping stuff and things that we use to say in the outdoors comes from the store Canadian Tire. So, it would be almost a company that I would want to call up and say, hey, we got some Coleman products or something. We've talked to Coleman, we've talked to them, and maybe one week there's a challenge that somebody wins and they get to spend a night or two in the new tent. You know what I mean? So to me, it's that kind of stuff. Like, the tent wouldn't be part of the game. They wouldn't get a tent because that's not true. But to let somebody have an actual night or two in a tent. Imagine when in Survivor, they win that night at some special building or something and they get all this pampering. Well, when somebody got absolutely nothing and then they get a tent, I think they'll feel like they're kings all of a sudden, you know what I mean? So, they get a little Coleman gas stove so they can actually cook something without having to make a fire, and they get to do that for 1 or 2 nights. That Coleman or Canadian Tire or whatever get to advertise. I really like that Canadian Tire commercials that they're making now with that one individual guy who's doing all the, I think they're funny things. So to me, I enjoy watching the Canadian Tire commercials. And, again, they're one of the good reasons I'd say I like to advertise, because they may have advertising ideas. I would love to have that guy in my show with one of the advertisements, because I just think he's awesome, and to me, it's a true outdoor competitive sport that I want to create. But you can play individually or as a group, because a group can do better than another season's group, though an individual can do better than any one individual in another season. So it's how important is it to you? So I just want to make a game that really shows how humans got here out of the goodness, not out of the crappy backstabbing soap opera ways. Again, I think I'm pretty much done. And I'm just going to... I don't think I need to really say anything else. I've said most of what I had to, but I have a lot more I haven't said, just maybe not what I find as important. If you have questions, keep them very, very to the point clearly, because for me, I always expand questions far more than somebody's maybe expecting me to think. So I want maybe not questions about me, but questions, because I want questions about the game or suggestions about the game, ideas, because I know shows like Big Brother and Survivor, there's probably a lot of people out there that have had ideas for games and things and really, really, really never got them out there. So for me, this is exactly the place you can come in, and I will, if somebody writes to me, really, I will do my best, especially at the moment. There'll be nobody else because I don't do any other things like this, so it'll be my first time that I do something like this, and socially is a big thing for me too. So, but it's because I want something socially done fun, not some. I enjoy, like I say, I'll never probably stop watching Survivor or Big Brother. To me, they're very fun shows. But sometimes I just have to walk out of the room when something is just too unkind, somebody's being too mean. I don't like it. But I have to be in there to watch those games, because that's the parts I truly enjoy, other than, like I say, the food challenge games or something. I gotta walk out of the room. Not to say I know people don't enjoy them, but I can't stomach it, and not to say it's not something that can be had, because there can be a game made that way. If a person that's an advertiser wants that to be the game played, maybe there's a company from Newfoundland have some kind of fish, and they want to say, hey, we're going to advertise our fish. Let's say who can eat more fish. You know what I mean? Well, somebody's probably going to get sick from that challenge, you know what I mean? Who can eat more fish? Because to eat and not let it come back out and be weighed is a thing, because if you eat too much and it comes back out, well, then you might not have eaten enough. So I think there can be many games that can be made fun that are a little, I would say, borderline with that food thing. But I don't want to make to me, there's no companies out there that are selling, what do you call those, the mangrove worms or whatever, and you're buying those as delicacies. So I don't know why in a game somebody would feed this kind of stuff to you, or when they put like something like sauerkraut and peanut butter with some disgusting other thing in there, and they mix it up and here's your smoothie because these are your favorite items, we put them all together. I always told myself if I played Big Brother and they're asking any food questions, I would only answer dairy products that are not that sweet, because Because if they ever had a game and it made you mix them or do anything, ice cream, yogurt, and milk, and all these kind of things wouldn't taste so bad together. But the minute you add something else in there other than chocolate, it might go good. But I would just keep it away from anything weird, just because I already know how the game's going to be played. Okay, well, I don't think I need to edit this. I'm fairly certain I got all what I wanted to say down. I talked about all my games and basic licenses that I basically want to, all the kind of stuff. I would just really love the feedback from people. To say I don't want to hear somebody being unkind and mean, but critics are to say where you might have made a mistake or overlooked something or have to think something more through. I think that's very important, and I generally take a lot into that kind of stuff. But I'm also really looking for people to play this game, and like I say, if you think that you have a chance of winning $10,000, because that's the way I'm going to have it set up first. But if we can get more, we can. Yeah, who says it won't be 100,000, 250,000? I know, Big Brother, for instance. What is it? I think they have a $100,000 prize here in Canada, and then they have also, I think it's a car and a round the world trip and a spa getaway. It's like probably less than 250,000 by the time they win. So to my mind, I'm just like, hey, that's an almost good idea, but it'd be nicer to win more than that, because if that's the biggest prize for the biggest game we have here in Canada, I don't know any game shows that have in Canada bigger than $1 million. Bigger than 100. That's the one that's playing right now, Big Brother. I would like this because it's not really Canada, but it's shot in Canada. I'd also maybe like to move it around the world through seasons and let people survive different places, but a bunch of different people in one place, like they do in Survivor. I think it's funny how nobody can ever go see where somebody played the game. That'd be one of the... If I was a person that liked to take vacations, I like Survivor. I'd like to go see the beach that they stayed on and, camp there for a night or two. I wonder if they have these as a tourist destination to show the game after it was played. You know what I mean? I think the viewers would like to take that vacation. Imagine winning a trip to go see the game right after the last day, right after they left the camp. You know what I mean? Be that viewer that got to win the trip to come and go see all the camp. Even viewers that could win that trip. A lot of people would love to see how the survivors actually had it and did and what things looked like. Nobody ever gets to see that. In this game, I want to bring viewers actually those opportunities and those chances to get out there. Imagine if you had to get a group of people to nominate you so you could come to watch the show live. Now, it's a thing you have to do for yourself. It's not something you're worried about being just picked. Maybe we do pick a few that are like random draw picks. But imagine if you, as the viewer, made it so you could come and watch the show if you deserved it, because you were the most, not the biggest fan, but obviously the most trying to get it. That's how I want to make the game. And even for the viewers I want the viewers, and I have games for the viewers to play that will involve into the game itself. So to me, I really enjoy the idea of, for instance, a game like hide and seek. Do you really see a game like hide and seek on Big Brother or Survivor? And really, that's a fundamental game. That's a good game, hide and seek. Now, you can always up that a level if you really know what I mean by hide and seek. You can up hide and seek quite so and make it a real thrilling game, especially when you're really trying to play against people. I even thought about having where maybe the winning or a game or a winning thing. It's just, again, it's the advertisement if you can get people to advertise products, because I have 1,000 ideas for products that could be had. Again, why I would want to talk to people, because I could say, hey, here's some thoughts. But paintballs, to have a day where one of the games is paintballs between the people, that would be an exciting game, and I guarantee you a lot of viewers will watch that on YouTube to watch a paintball match and for an outcome to something that's being won that's fun, So that's advertisement, maybe from the equipment, a company that wants to advertise their paintball says, hey, we're going to give you the paintball supplies and then, 1,000 balls, and you guys just, boom, have at it, advertise our products, your big name brands on everything, boom, boom, everybody's got their headgear on, guns, everybody's having fun. That's the kind of advertisement I want the people to find, but that I also already have thought of, so games are there. A lot of advertisement ideas because of the things I want in the game have games already orientated to them. Now, not to say I wouldn't take an idea from somebody else who brings me another idea or an idea I've thought about. I just want there to be advertisement that helps the person playing the game. That's one of the big things about this. I would want it to be, I know the seasons too is a big thing. I would want the first season to be fall. And I thought about if I was to play the game again, it wouldn't be in the same location. But the second season to be summer. The third season to be spring. And then the fourth season to be winter. So play it at every 3 months and it restarts another. So it gives, pretty much myself, if I'm to say, it gives me 2 seasons off. And then getting prepared for the next, to always get prepared for that season that's going to be coming up too. So, and then if I was to start to say imply other players to start playing, teammates and stuff, I want to get to that winter. And I think winter would be, especially for Canada, unless we're going around the world, winter would be a really hard thing for people to take and survive through. But it can be done, I know that. And it'd be a real impressive thing to watch. Most impressive, it's the one thing I've always wanted to watch in Survivor, is let them play a season during winter here in Canada, because I'm pretty sure they would all die. So to me, it's, can you get there? Now, if you've played and you go back to a place that you played the game already, I think that's an awesome idea, because the people that played it and are replaying in their places that they already know to a degree can get things a lot further along than, say, it was. Now, if you're playing, I have the idea to have single people playing, single people 1 against 1. I have paired people playing against paired people, to have triples playing against triples, and to also have 4 people against 4 people. I even thought of bringing it up to 6 versus 6 and having one game where it's 6 versus 6 versus 6 versus 6, because every camp will have that amount of people. So the first game I want to have 12. Next, if I was bringing up more people, it would be 24. And then I would bring it up to 36 people playing. And more would get accomplished in a season. Now, like a golf game, there's a par. So how well the whole season does or a person does, it's a big par game. Now, it doesn't mean that another season you don't play, and we come back to singles again and you can't beat a season that had another singles event, and you end up being the best. You, by the viewers also watching you, will will definitely be my choices for people I'll reuse again in the games. To say when they bring back favorites in games, people always like that stuff. So to me, it'll be an easy way to bring back the people that people want to see again, because the views won't lie at the bottom of the screen who wanted to be watched more. Even if it's a person that, not to say is evil or playing bad, but the person could be the loser, the worst person that placed 12th, but he's the most liked and most viewed person. You know what I mean? It's like Gilligan's Island, to say the professor might be the one who wins first place and Gilligan's going to get last place, but you all watch Gilligan's Island for Gilligan, not the professor, and not even the pretty, Marianne, I think, and Ginger, the movie star, and Skipper, You know what? You watch it because it's Gilligan's Island. Now, he's the one that in my game would place last, but imagine he's the one that's brought back to play another game. He might have done it the worst. Doesn't mean the second time he doesn't do it, he does far better. But for me, that's the big thing, is to allow people to play this game, anybody play the game, as long as they can meet certain requirements. Like I say, fishing license, hunting license, CPR, and first aid, because I want people that I don't hope they're safe. I know they have a minimum of safe requirements made. I just want that to be had by people like that. Like, I think that's a requirement for people. So, like I said, I'd like to throw this game for people is basically what I want to do. I just don't want quitters in the game. That's a big thing. And if I can get other people involved that watch this that want to advertise, I can maybe bring, and hopefully it will, bring up the ante to the amount of money I can give at the end of the year and throw in the show. Because to make the show, think about Survivor, other than their camera crews and what they give as their big luxury things, putting people on a beach doesn't cost that much money really, other than getting them there. Well, if your job, you want to play the game, was to get to the city that I basically told you to, and your 1,000, so it's fair for everybody, basically, and then we'll take and bring you all together at one point destination. It's to be able to advertise and give you all the time you can to get out there. I'm not going to spring something, show up, and say, hey, we got to go right now. That's not the kind of thing. This is the thing where you can have tons of people by one point know that this game's going to happen. Trust me, if this game can happen in, or it'd be less than what's January, February, March, April, May, June, July, August, September. So 4 months plus another full year. So if it could happen in 16 months, that gives a lot of, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. Okay. Yeah, I think I'm right. Anyways, I'm not too sure though. Trying to recount other things, but anyways, not important. I'm just kind of lose track because I went into a math thought. I don't even know why I really have to think about math on talk about this, so people can think about it anyways. Anyways, I'm gonna finish this video now. I'm done it. tiandubord@gmail.com is where you can write and somehow leave me a message or on my YouTube channel for that, and then you'll be able to let me know what you think I need to know, or what I definitely do need to know, or if you want to play and you're interested in playing this game. I think I gave a big enough layout. Like I said, I'm going to probably make a next video when I either get enough people, because I started writing out a little the way I kind of more want to say it, but like a speech, and I don't really want to come across that way. I'd rather people get the imagination the way I've got it running, and I can just go a little everywhere and make sure people really think, hopefully, is what I get. But there's a lot of survival people out there that in games, TV shows, that I would even love to get feedback from. I know Les Stroud. He's I believe lives around North Bay, Ontario. He's one of the, I think they call him Survivor Man. I don't actually have a cable or satellite or anything, so I don't watch the TV shows. But I know I've seen it. I've worked and I've been in hotels and I've watched cable there, and I'm pretty sure Survivor Man. I've always called him a Survivor Guy, and I know a lot of people do, but Survivor Man, I believe it is, and Les Stroud, and that guy is really good with his things. He'd be almost a guy I would love to watch play this game, but I don't know if to say he's too skilled or may not know certain skills, but he'd be a definitely guy to help set up and make sure the show is really up there, survival wise, and making sure that there's not too much I don't want technology to be involved much in the game other than the videotaping of the people, because that's, you want to watch somebody play the game. I also don't want edit. Don't want to make this video editing, because I don't like editing. A mistake is made, it should be seen. Hopefully it's not the downfall of somebody when they don't make the biggest mistake. And if I made a big mistake in this, well, obviously I'm making it so I get told. And if I edit it and I rewatch it and rewatch it and rewatch it, make sure I say everything perfect, I don't want to come across as that kind of person. I'd rather show people faults, because again, this game is that kind of game where you make a fault in this game and people are going to see it. Running up over an hour and 45, just throwing in all my little extra stuff there. I know I said that I give the people the walkie-talkie, basically the clock, and then the camera. And like I said, I'd like a camera crew for the second. Maybe it works so good with the people working their individual cameras. I thought about giving them up to 2, or the head, because I want a point of view cam. But maybe you want a camera where you can set aside and film you from far what you're doing. It's kind of how I would probably film myself if I was out there. But maybe you just want that point of view cam too. So I thought maybe I'd give them 2 people. Now, there's another thing with this game is there's a certain amount of product I know I need to say that would be purchased for this. Nothing of extreme expense, but just some basics, good camcorder kind of things that I can digitally upload to a laptop, you know what I mean, kind of idea, walkie-talkies, So for me, but it's to make sure people are safe kind of things, and that the game can be played thoroughly and properly. Now, things that are a little more upgraded, and things aren't things you're going to be allowed to use in the game. They're just going to be things that allow us to, when you get on the walkie-talkie, say I made fire, we can write that down so we can get that in video fast and get through videos and edit things much quicker and know when things happen, because that's going to be a big thing in this game, I think. So the timing of it and making sure who's first, second, and third. Again will really appreciate the input from people for this game. I know I have it written here, so I keep saying it because it's one of the most important things that I want to have the viewers that watch this, or want to play this, or want to do something to this, and the people involved, and with the millions and millions and millions and millions of viewers on YouTube, far more than any basic channel. That I can personally think of. I think this would be an awesome platform, and a lot of people like to be on YouTube too. So, it's not to say you're maybe playing this game because you're the best survival. Maybe you just you can socialize and be good enough with everybody just to make by. Maybe 12th place is good enough for you, and you want to just have a fun experience. I don't know. The idea is, as long as you can do something to prove that you're worth coming to the game, because I don't know why Survivor doesn't have everybody make fire before they go out and make that like a thing. But like I said, I don't want to do that for my game, but do something on my list that I held up to the screen so people know. And I think that would be the thing. Also, if you make a video for me to watch, it really, I can say, might not even be that. I don't expect to have 1 million people want to play my game. Maybe, but I don't think so, at least for the first season. And for me, I don't think I'll get it bombarded even if I was to get a few thousand. I've got enough time from point A to my point B to want to play that game, to be able to watch long videos like I'm making a fairly long video, going to get up to the 2-hour mark. If you make a video yourself too, and they always tell you in the game shows a 3-minute video or a 2-minute, they just want something quick because they don't have all this time. Well, if I'm going to watch you and you've been nominated by somebody, it leaves me more purpose to watch you, because if you're willing to put $1,000 to come and play a game, you're not just a person that I just want to waste my time watching on a video, obviously. Because why? You're not going to make a video if if I choose you, you're going to have to give $1,000 to be able to play the game to prove it. Put your money where your mouth is. Even to the point of a name for the show, I've never called this game anything. In my mind, I've thought different thoughts. But even the viewers to be able to name the game, I think, would be an awesome thing. I think the viewers would love to be able to name a show, and say viewers would agree upon it. So maybe I get a whole bunch of them and I'll make a video saying, hey, okay, these are the names for the videos. Which ones do you guys want? I'll always try to maybe date my videos so people know in order which way they've come. I might label this number 1 or just put the date of today on there. I have to look what the date is today. I'm not offhand. I know in the middle of March sometime. Anyways, like I say, this game is a game of helping and surviving. So, and if you don't, it might not be so fun. So, that's it for this. This time I think I'm for sure going to say it's it for this. I'm just one of these people that want to make sure I have everything said and done and talked about. And I'm fairly certain I did. Talked about all the advertisement, and then I talked about all the stuff to do with YouTube too, I'm pretty sure, and all the things. Alright, so there's a bunch of extras to do with all the different things, but that's not saying more or less for people, but yeah, it's more or less for people willing to play the game, because you might be an advertiser, but you don't really care how a game is actually played, because you just want to give the honey so it can be played in some game. So I don't want to go over games and all how they be played, because there's say 77 games to be played basically. So that's all different kinds, because a game can be considered a course, a treasure hunt, an obstacle course, just some form of game that's like I say, hide and seek. You can't call that a course or an obstacle course. That's a game. So there's gonna be stuff like that. So if you have game ideas, that's the kind of stuff that I'm gonna want from this. If you have any other good thoughts, say even some bad thoughts, I'm willing to always take all my people's criticism, and hey, if people think it's a good idea, I always like to hear it too, because I would just not say give me the encouragement, but let other people that would watch and get to see it, that they also agree with and think it's a good thing. Because maybe we do get a big advertiser that comes around and says, hey, we want advertisement every season on your show. We're willing to give you your grand prize winner of, say, $250,000 for the winner, you know, and work it down, scale, you know, 125, blah, 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 breaking all the way. I have all the different amounts of money that I would use as a denomination and cut down. Because I want every game to be, you doubled your money every challenge level you go up. So you're doing better, and if you lose half your money, trust me, somebody that's making $500,000 is going to be gunning for the guy making $1 million. It makes a big difference. Playing a game like Big Brother, and the winner gets $500,000, and the runner second place gets $50,000, and then like nobody basically gets anything else. Well, it's kind of funny, you know what I mean? You know, the most deserving player might have ever not gotten anything, and that's not. I want to say it's not fair. I know they say the world isn't fair, but when you have the ability to make something fair, why isn't it made fair? And that's the ponder of this game. I'm sure there's a lot of people that will watch this video and say, hey, I understand this is a fair game. This is the kind of game I would play now, because it's not forcing me to do things that are just not right. I have choice to do these things. The only thing, let's say you don't even have to do the 12 challenges. You could omit one if you don't like it. Maybe you want to omit 2. Maybe you're a vegetarian and you don't believe in killing any animals at all, and you're willing to be the first one done 10 of these things, but you know you're not going to get 2 done. But you know you're going to get 10 done, and you can get them done before everybody else. Well, that means you can take, what, 3rd place? Hopefully, maybe minimum. Well, at 3rd place at $250,000 is pretty good, even if you're a vegetarian, knowing you can't get those other two. But you just need to make it to the end of the game and hold your position, you know, after completing those positions. You know, so it doesn't mean somebody that can't do something or isn't willing to do something can't still win in this game. You don't have to compromise anything in this game. That's what the awesome part of this game is. It's always going to be choice, which is pro thing. Hi, Paul. Mind you, babies, eh? Oh, hiff. You don't like the puppies? Oh, yeah, she doesn't like the puppies. All right, well, I don't even think I'll edit out my little cat and dog talk here. They're just good little animals. Anyways, I think I've got it all listed. I thought about, again, maybe adding one challenge. Not to say something I haven't thought of, because I have a couple other ideas, but if I have enough, maybe people that are watching and say, hey, this needs to be a challenge, and it needs to be, maybe even one I haven't thought of, maybe I could add it and bulk up, maybe, because I have one of my things is the catching the fish, another one is catching meat. Maybe I could bulk up those 2 challenges as a one challenge and say either or both, and then also make an extra challenge and say, hey, the people want this as a form of challenge. What's, you know, can somebody, I don't want to say anything because I don't want to lead people. I showed the challenges that I want, that I know I want, but again, real challenges too. I wouldn't put anything out there that's a challenge, you know, of cruelness or stupidity or unkindness. So I hope this is kind of like not to say my application or my my spiel or my pitch to the world for what I want as a show, but I hope it works, and I'm gonna I find it funny to have to actually upload this to YouTube because it's a video of I feel almost nothing, but it hopefully is something for some people, and hopefully 2 hours of watching my video has been somewhat entertaining because you know, I'm an oddball person, so I don't mind it. That's maybe why I thought about an oddball show, you know, that I would really like to play. And the thing is I wouldn't play this game myself because of the fairness of a person watching. Not to say I don't trust nobody, but I really want a ref that's fair. And whenever there's been my life playing games, I've never mind playing basketball, but I don't want to play the game of basketball. I just want to play the game. I don't mind camp. I could do all these things camping, but I don't want to camp competitively. I'll be a ref. Whenever people wanted to get competitive, like in a game of basketball or soccer, I'm the guy who'll put up his hand. Well, I'll be the ref. That's what I've always enjoyed playing and being in a game. The guy that makes things sure are fair. I don't need to have that limelight of being the best or the one that did this or something. I enjoy. I know, for instance, how long the fastest amount of time I can make fire with 2 sticks of wood. My best if you will, par time, or my best time that I've ever done. So for me, it's when I first made my first fire, I can remember that feeling that came inside me. I was like, and it's the most proud I can almost say that I ever was about my life was making fire. Well, to play this in a game is an awesome thing. To know you can do it's an even more big thing, and to see people doing it without a screen split or something happening or a bunch of editing. To actually watch what it took from point A to point B, C, D, all the way. You had to get the little wood, you had to get the bigger wood, you had to the shavings, and you do this and you're doing that and you're getting this and you're getting that and you're setting it up this way, you're setting it up that way, you're getting this here. You're making sure maybe the wind's cut out and you're doing all these things. Once you watch a human do this without no cuts, I think that's a real big thing. Like I've made other videos. I made food videos and I put on YouTube. And to me, the big thing was editing and not cutting nothing. Because people always edit. Everything's already done, already de-thawed, already chopped up. Well, I made videos where people could watch and cook quicker than I can. I, not to say dumbed myself down, but I'm not going to go cut like this. You know what I mean? Even if I can cut like that, I'm going to cut like this. And I do my video like that. And now my videos that I do are not very long, 30, 40 minutes, and they're really, really big, say not big, but really good meals and appetizing, like a spaghetti sauce, right from scratch. Nothing thought, no meat thought. Meat right out of the freezer kind of idea. I'm a kind of guy that don't like editing, likes to keep things real. The only time I edited was my bread video, but people don't want to watch Rising Bread. So, I'm going to make the video for this game show, and I don't want that editing stuff. That's why I thought YouTube was the best media platform, because not to say there's no restrictions on what you put on here, because I wouldn't allow maybe certain things I'd maybe have to edit out. But if it's on the show that I would put as the weekly thing, but on your own line, like if you've got to say a guy that's going to be naked or something or is taking a shower, you know what I mean? You're not going to edit it. It's his choice what he's showing you on his video cam, and it's on his station. But I wouldn't show that, or even show it covering something. I wouldn't even air that on the part. So just keep people in mind that this is just a game show that I want. I want people with creative thoughts and good thoughts to write or make me a video that I can watch, because I find it much easier to watch videos and see actually how somebody's coming across rather than trying to feel them out on writing, because you don't actually know how somebody's coming across. All right, that's it at 2 hours, and again, thank you for your time. This is Tian. I guess I don't want to say reporting, but this is Tian finishing my video, and hope you enjoyed my ranting about a game that I want to make, including you if you've watched this far. All right, bye.